We're going to be joined by Tea Party leader Dick Armey, who's the chairman of Freedom Works and the author of Give Us Liberty, a Tea Party manifesto. And here in the studio, Democratic strategist James Carville. And James, I want to begin with showing your double on Saturday Night Live, talking about the prospect of a Republican Congress.
Let them have the House. Good riddance. I mean, have you ever seen the House of Representatives? It's like the waiting room for jury duty. When you see the House on C-SPAN, it looks like a family reunion that's only weird uncles.
Well, you were joking there, but could having the Congress change hands be good for the president, be good for the party in the long run?
I don't feel like it today. See me, congratulations to former Congressman Armey, who was very instrumental in starting this whole Tea Party thing, which had a lot to do with this. But, you know, it may be, but there's not going to be a whole lot of common ground there. And whatever side gets its sort of sea legs first and is able to really adjust to what is going to be a really, really new reality in Washington or be more successful. There's some reasons why the White House can. It's more unified. It's easy to do. The Republicans are, you know, going to be split. They're going to have some of these things. I want to announce my endorsement of Michelle Bachmann right away for that position. I would like to see her out there for sure.
I take it, Mr. Armey, that you might second that endorsement of Michelle Bachmann. Let's get to some of the policy, though, as well. James said he doesn't think there's a lot of prospects for common ground. I was struck by, you know, Senator Mitch McConnell, the Democratic Republican leader in the Senate, before the election said that the #1 job will be to deny President Obama a second term. He's not backing off that at all. He's going to give a speech later today where he repeats that and says, quote, "If our primary legislative goals are to repeal and replace the health spending bill, to end the bailouts, cut spending, and shrink the size and scope of government, the only way to do all these things is to put someone in the White House who won't veto any of these things." Is that the right approach right now?
Well, let me say, first of all, I think we've got a really good leadership team, and quite frankly, I was surprised to hear you characterize Jeb Hensarling as an establishment guy. This is a candidate who gave the best expressions of opposition in the most deeply analytical terms to TARP and to the banking reform bill. He's got a very bright mind. He's very deep. And the reason he's on the TARP commission was he was the best voice in opposition to it. So the fact is, this is not an insider. This is not an establishment guy. He's a very bright and able person, and it's going to be a good contest for good leadership slots. Now, what you see with this leadership team is what I call quiet competence. John Boehner is not a needy guy. He doesn't need a lot of attention. He will quietly and quickly focus resources and resourcefulness on problems and directions, and he's got a proven ability to work with even the most militant people on the other side, such as George Miller.
Well, and the president signaled that he might be willing to compromise on tax cuts yesterday if he is willing to extend tax cuts for the wealthy for a year. Is that something that's acceptable?
Well, obviously, I think what you do with this, understand the dilemma they have in dealing with this in a lame duck session, and it must be dealt with in this session, is that when the votes in the House were for a full extension of the tax package, Nancy Pelosi would not allow the vote to be taken. The fact of the matter is this hasn't changed. It's probably gone more in the direction of the package that it gives full extension is what will pass the House. You don't have time to quibble about this a whole lot. My guess is that would then be quickly taken up by the Senate and passed on to the president. So the president is saying, I'm perfectly willing to talk about what I know I'm going to get anyway.
And James, what we'll see is the president trying to work something out on taxes, clearly going to draw a line on health care. That's a clear difference from Speaker to be Boehner, from Mitch McConnell as well. So where can they find the common ground?
Well, you know, earmarks. Are they going to find maybe an assault treaty with Russia? I have no idea. Of some big kid talking about doing something. The stuff that we showed, school nutrition or something, seems like kind of small potatoes. I mean, to me, in the middle of a recession and all the problems we have. But maybe if they can find 2 or 3 small things they can agree on, it'll come to something else. They're going to have to find an agreement on the budget. I mean, some things are just the business of government has to go on. As we were discussing yesterday, they're going to have to find an agreement on this debt ceiling, which is going to be a huge issue when it comes up.
And if they don't raise the debt ceiling, the entire government could go into default. Is that someplace where the Republicans are going to hold the line, Mr. Armey?
Well, I think everybody's realistically aware that the debt ceiling must be raised, and that is the fact that derives from past fiscal imprudence. So I would think that what the small government conservatives in the Congress would say is, all right, we will go work with you on this, but we do need to have some demonstration on your part of a renewed commitment to fiscal responsibility going forward.
Okay,
I think work that out in some way.
Okay, Dick Armey, James Carville, thanks very much.